Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another movie review. Two main movie reviews, I know. Believe me, we have, I think, in terms of my reviews for 2020, I have two more that I want to do. And then after that, I'm going to be doing my top 10 list, my favorites, my worst, and my anticipated, all that good stuff. So three more reviews. Bear with me. I know that's been a lot of reviews lately, um, but there's just some films that I was really fascinated to see. And this one, especially, that I was quite intrigued to see, which is Possessor. Um, now, for anybody who has not heard what Possessor is about, I will give you a little bit of a synopsis, um, which is this. Possessor is how do I explain it? Possessor, if as the title suggests, is a scientific scientific twist to possession. So there's a lady. It's basically like she's an assassin, and she is put into this program where she gets to inhabit roles. So she gets to inhabit these other uh, people by means of, I guess, telepathic means. And uh, once she is in this state of being in this, because she's literally inhabiting this particular role. She's not, not she's not like uh, interfacing herself with this. Like, she's literally embodying this person. She feels how this person feels, and she has to play this part. And through these roles, she has to eventually kill said people around said person, because that's ultimately the goal with her duty and this job. However, some things don't go to plan with this particular possession, and things start to become quite intense and quite thrilling. Um, the first thing that I have to say, and everybody has been saying it about this film, and rightfully so, um, is that if you are someone who cannot handle certain images and someone who cannot handle certain uh, certain violent acts, I would probably stay away from Possessor, because this is a visually disturbing film. It is quite disturbing. It is not holding back. There are many moments where I was looking away from the screen, and to put it in other perspective, my legs right now feel very uh, tense because these images really, really rocked me, and I was quite flustered by the images being put on screen. Um, and it really enhanced the environment that it was in. It wasn't played for like a reactionary effect. It was played for the right time and for the right moments, and it really, really frightened me, and really, really got me to my core. Um, and for another great thing about the film, as I explained, its concept is extremely fascinating. It provides an interesting twist to possession in general, and I like the idea of this person being able to inhabit other people, and her being able to physically feel their everything. And I really, really like that idea of her just being able to, not like just, it's not like putting on a mask. It's like she has to literally physically understand everything about this particular person, and we see how it affects her mentally as well. This is something that truly puts her in a conflicted state of being throughout the entire film, as she is trying to interface images of her from his memories, from her own memories, and as you may have guessed it, these two memories start to clash. And when that moments happen, or when those moments happen, it is an extremely thrilling ride, and it is quite intense, because the other thing about the film is that the tension is at an all-time high. I never once was kept calm throughout my viewing. It was very, very intense, and intense for all the right purposes. Again, not for effect. I feel like some people may view this as like a gimmick type thing, like, oh, it's just uh, an excuse to show practical effects, or an excuse to show off certain visual styles. And in some respects it can be viewed that way, but in my particular viewing, everything was utilized for a particular reason. It wasn't just used for uh, won't say funsies, but for visual shock value. You know what I mean? It wasn't anything for that. Um, because one of the things that I found really fascinating about the film, besides the visuals and the amount of tension and the concept, is that I also really liked the thematic idea, which I alluded to with her state of being, and that is this idea of control, because that's ultimately what the film is about. It's about control and how much control do we really have with ourselves and with our identities, and really how easy it is to slip into something and how to get back in taking control of your own self. I really liked that idea within the confines of a form of possession. I really, really liked that. Um, and and besides, again, even though that the visuals are, as I said, quite disturbing, the utilization of those moments played to the thematic concept quite well, and I was just finding myself just in awe, but also just quite grossed out at particular moments. Um, Even though it is, again, a feast for the eyes and its concept is really intriguing, I have to say, though, that the performances lacked for a lot for me. I think that the main actress did fairly well, and I think that the main actor also did fairly well, but I think that they kind of lacked for me, especially because there were a lot of times where I really wanted these moments to hit harder from a performance standpoint, but it felt kind of restrained, and I didn't like that. I wish that there was a lot more characterization for these particular people, and especially when they clash, because eventually, I don't think I spoil anything, but eventually these minds start to clash. I would have liked to have seen a lot more distinction between the two, and seen how she differentiates from her subject and how her subject acts normally, and seeing these minds clash much more rootedly than just from a visual point of view. Um, and which leads to my other problem with the film, as I had just addressed, which is I think we needed more development for her given assignment, the person that she inhabits. I would have liked to have learned a lot more about this particular person and provide a better perspective for when he actually starts to try to get his memories back and to regain control. I would have liked to have seen a lot more of resonance for him, and because on the basis of, yes, it's a human being, it's too far. Of course, the idea of possessing somebody is quite um, terrifying, and does not do a lot for her. But I really wanted to learn more about him. I really wanted to learn a lot more about him as a person, and with this girl that he was with, and because they give you hints, but they don't give you any concrete answers. And I wanted to really have more concrete answers as to who this person really was, and also how he acts around these other subjects that he's around. Like at one point, there's another person in the film that's kind of like a best friend of his, and I just wish I had more overall characterization for him, since he is a big point of the film as well. But again, it's kind of hard because it is ultimately her um, inside this person, but at the same time, I think that we could have used just a little bit more details, because there's a scene where she is given information about her subject. I wish we have gotten a little bit more besides just vocalization and mannerisms. I would have liked to have seen a lot more development of how he is personality wise. Um, I think that would have benefited a lot more in terms of the emotional resonance. Um, but while its performances weren't as gripping or thrilling, and I do believe that that further development is needed in certain areas, I still stand by saying that this is a visually arresting and intriguing premise that will keep you at the edge of your seat, and yes, it will make you squeamish as well, because man, it really did an effect on me. I'm still a little bit tense from those visuals, but Like I said, if you can't handle visuals like this, do not watch Possessor, but if you can, you're not only in for a visually disturbing ride, but you're also in for quite an interesting concept and a very, very intense ride that does need more development in certain areas, but in terms of a visual experience, there's a lot more to be had there than just visuals. There's a fascinating concept to explore and quite an interesting twist on possession. And I wouldn't call it scary, but it definitely leaves a lasting impression on you once you leave your viewing.